The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. At that time Jesus withdrew to the region of Tyre and Sidon. And behold, a Canaanite woman of that district came and called out, "Have pity on me, Lord, Son of David. My daughter is tormented by a demon." But Jesus did not say a word in answer to her. Jesus' disciples came and asked him, "Send her away, for she keeps calling out after us." He said in reply, "I was sent only to the lost sheep of the house of Israel." But the woman came and did Jesus homage, saying, "Lord, help me." He said in reply, "It is not right to take the food from the children and throw it to the dogs." She said, "Please, Lord, for even the dogs eat the scraps that fall from the table of their masters." Then Jesus said to her in reply, "O woman, great is your faith. Let it be done for you as you wish." And the woman's daughter was healed from that hour. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
A few weeks ago, in the news was a very sad case of a small baby named Charlie Gard from Great Britain. He was in the news quite a bit before he died. British courts had ruled that life support should be removed and that Charlie should be allowed to die with dignity. But his parents wanted Charlie to be allowed to come to the United States for experimental therapy. Now, whatever the merits of the case, there's no denying the determination of Charlie's parents. They wanted to leave no stone unturned in their efforts to keep their son alive. Their passion and energy for their child galvanized huge support at home and abroad. You know, there's nothing that can compare to the energy and passion which parents have for the well-being of their children. I know in my personal experience of 30 plus years in law enforcement, there are a few times I came when a mom had her child she thought was being injured or was injured. And dealing with that mother was something to be, I'd almost rather face the bear than the mother whose ire was up. You know, parents have been known to rush into a burning building to rescue their child with any thought of their own well-being. And that brings to mind the story from this very week of the father in Barcelona that ran in front of that terrorist-driven van to knock his child out from the path of the van and was killed himself. Parents will stop at nothing when the well-being of their child is in danger. Today's gospel reading is a very good example of such parental passion. Mother fights for her child and takes on Jesus in the process. She came to him for help, not for herself, but for her daughter. And she wasn't going to take no for an answer. As a matter of fact, she sounds like she made a nuisance of herself. Got the disciples all upset. "Lord, send her away." Jesus himself seemed pretty uncomfortable with it. First he wouldn't talk to her. Then he said his mission was only for the lost sheep of Israel. Well, if Jesus thought he was going to discourage that woman, he was wrong. She knelt at his feet and said, "Lord, help me." And I'm almost shocked at Jesus' answer. It's not fair to take the food from the children and throw it to the dogs. Now that doesn't sound to me like something that Jesus would say. But maybe he was testing her. Well, if it was a test, she passed with flying colors. "Please, Lord, for even the dogs eat the scraps that fall from the master's table." Jesus had his answer. He knew her heart was genuine. "Woman," Jesus said, "great is your faith. Let it be done for you as you wish." And her daughter was healed. The Gospel of Matthew that we hear was written some 50 or 60 years after the death of Jesus. Matthew was teaching a group primarily Jewish, and they were struggling with two major areas. First was the role of Gentiles or foreigners, people of different culture or ethnic backgrounds. Their question, how should we treat these people? What do we need to do with them? How do we behave around them? Second role that was a problem for the early church community was the role of women. Now these two issues sound familiar. As a Christian people, followers of Jesus, we're still grappling with these same two issues today. The matter of how we treat people who are different, not one of our own. Immigrants, those racially different. Just people we don't know. It's regularly and consistently in the news. Who is to be accepted? Who is to be rejected? Who's to be relegated to the back of the bus? Most everyone can identify with these issues. We're uncomfortable, at least initially, with anyone who's different. Jesus is seen in today's gospel much the same way. But notice there's one big distinction. It's the woman's faith that made all the difference in the world and changed Jesus. Ultimately, it wasn't her persistence that transformed him. Instead, to his amazement, it was the depth of the love for her daughter and her recognition of the breadth of God's love for all humans. It's her belief that God loves all people and will heal all people. The other major issue I spoke of is that of women. And it's presented in a very subtle but equally significant way. Women at the time had no rights, legally or religiously. But again and again, Jesus broke the rules of both his religion and his culture by listening to women, conversing with them, healing them, and including them among his primary followers. Jesus even went so far as to use women as examples to all of us, such as the woman in today's gospel, who was given the ultimate compliment of teaching Jesus. What Jesus finds remarkable in this woman's faith, that's our lesson in today's gospel. It will be our faith that will lead us through the heartaches and the demons that torment us. It will be our faith that will overcome all our many biases and prejudices and give us hearts large enough to welcome everyone. It will be our faith that will transform us just as it did Jesus. For us today, I see this as an invitation. An invitation to welcome the many new immigrants who have come from abroad to take up residence in our community. Such strangers can bring a great richness to us that we may otherwise lack, including a richness of faith. We might even understand that this invitation to love all those who are different from us, those who do not come at life differently from us, who do not hold and share what we all hold dear. It's a great challenge, but it's a great opportunity. We have a couple other great opportunities to reach out to others. We have our United Catholic movement, where we've asked you to invite friends, family members, and neighbors back to the faith. We're also preparing for the biggest annual happening here at our parish, the Oktoberfest. This is a great chance to get involved and to meet new people. People you may not sit next to, may not live near. You may have nothing in common. But by signing up and volunteering your time, it assures that you will meet new people. And the people you may encounter and get to know will bring a richness. It's an opportunity for all of us. Please understand, the Lord can be speaking to us through those we may be tempted to keep our distance from. But it's often the person who is different from us who has the most to teach us.